Hello everybody, I'm Shelly Yates and I'm here with Dr. Mark Lees for Dr. Make Me Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
Great to be here.
Wonderful to be here. Tonight we're going to be talking about your wonderful skincare salon, and it's back to school time, so we're going to talk a little bit about skin problems, primarily acne.
Right, so problem skin, acne, and yeah, that's something we focus on a lot, for sure.
That's right, yeah. And with school coming back into session, everybody's really getting their look together and getting all their school supplies and clothes and outfits. And don't neglect your face, because that's the first thing that people see. So
that's right.
Yep, you have to take care of it. So, well, can you give us an idea? Is acne really a teenage problem, or?
Acne really can occur at any age. I mean, certainly we know about it as teenage, teenage thing. That's what we think of it. But a lot of women, for example, never have any problems until they're 22 years old or 28 years old. Okay, I have acne clients that are in their 60s, that still fight it. So a lot of it has to do. We'll learn tonight that a lot of it has to do with genetics and hormones. So. That's women. Men are guys are more likely to have an acne problem when they're teenagers, and they generally clear up. Not all of them, but a larger percentage. Women are actually more likely to have problems with their skin once they're in childbearing years, in early 20s and beyond. I mean, you can have a child before that, I'm aware of that. But generally speaking, into their 20s and such. And it's probably largely hormonal, but it's also, there are some stress factors. And there are some factors having to do with makeup and skincare.
Oh, really?
So,
now, what is the best kind of cosmetic approach to take when
the spreading agents in creams and makeup products are something has to make it spread across the skin and stick to the skin. Whether it's a great moisturizer with peptides, or it's a serum, or it's a fabulous foundation. Okay. Something makes it stick to the skin, and it's a spreading agent, what we call the vehicle, okay? And the vehicle can be made out of oils, or it can be made out of silicone, or it can be made out of man-made molecules. And the oils and the fats that are okay to put on a non-acne prone skin are not okay to put on an acne prone skin, because the fats very much mimic sebum. So if you already have oily skin, you already have a problem with clogged pores from the inside coming out. You can also have problems from the outside going in by applying a lot of these oils and fats and things. So you have to be careful to make sure that you use something that's not only oil-free, but what you see this word on TV all the time, is non-comedogenic, which means non-clogged pore producing. Oh. And generally speaking, non-comedogenic products should be, they're not all this way, but they're supposed to be tested. They're supposed to test the finished product on acne patients to see if it's a period of time that they either occlude it, or they get people to use the product for a long period of time who already have acne prone skin. And if they get, they can measure whether or not it makes the skin worse, or causes clogged pores to form.
How do you know what kind of skin type that you have?
Well, if you have clogged pores, if you have oiliness, if you tend to get oily during the day, you have more of an acne-prone skin. Okay, if you constantly have 4 zits. Okay, you still have an acne-prone skin. And people say, well, I don't really have acne. I have 4 zits from time to time. Well, technically that's acne, okay? But when we use the word acne, most people envision someone with their whole face covered in blemishes. And that's certainly a more severe type of acne. There are different grades of acne. But that chronic 2 to 3 zit person is the type of person who will have a problem with comedogenics, who does have a problem with things clogging them up. And if they're constantly exposing themselves to heavier makeups and things like that, which a lot of people turn to because they can't get their face to clean up,
Right.
So, but what we do is we specialize, and we have a whole line that's just in this area. It was really the part of the line that kind of got me into the market, or put me on the map, if you will, because we developed a system that our moisturizers, sunscreens, serums, we even have an anti-aging part of our range for people who are acne prone, because
Right.
there's 50-year-olds who are acne prone too.
That's great.
So, and then the makeup phase also, if you use the best skincare in the world, say you come in and we put you on all non-comedogenic skincare, everything's going great, but you go to the mall and you pick up something that's an oil ball of foundation, it's gonna kill the whole thing.
Right.
It's just like I always say, if you start walking every day or running every day and you run but you end up at Krispy Kreme, it doesn't work.
You don't know that I did that.
I love Krispy Kreme. No.
Yeah.
but you understand my point.
Sure.
It's kind of an all or nothing deal. If you throw something in the mix that's not going to work, it's still going to cause problems, especially things you wear, okay,
Really?
for long periods of time. So it would be like foundation, moisturizers, not so much cleansers, and not so much eyeshadow, because most people don't break out on their eyelids, okay? I mean, it can happen,
Right.
but it's very unusual. It's the center panel of the face and things that you're wearing for 8 hours at a time.
Is there anything you should do while you're wearing makeup for 8 hours at a time that would help you if you have breakouts or?
Just making sure that whatever's under that makeup is non-clogging. From an aesthetic standpoint, using powder is a good idea. Using a little spritz of mineral water is a good idea. A lot of times you can spritz your face with mineral water, and then just pat it. Don't rub it, because when you rub it, you'll mess up your makeup.
Right.
But some of the new mineral makeups that are out are not a problem, because they're powders. However, I have seen some that were a problem because something's causing that powder to stay on the face.
Right.
Okay, and it's what they put in the powder that's the binding agent that's the problem. It's not the powder. The powder's not the problem. The problem is the binding agent.
The binding agent.
And just like you've seen women who have blush line acne, and they just have bumps right here.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
You've seen people that
Sure.
you're sitting across somebody from dinner or next to you at dinner or something, and they have acne just through here. The redder the blush, the more likely it is to cause a problem, because the redder the blush, the more likely they've used coal tar dyes.
Whoa.
Okay? And the dyes that are derived from coal tar are more likely to cause blemishes and blackheads.
Wow, I did not know that. That's really good information right
Right.
there. We've learned about the non-comedogenic, which
Right.
can't say, and I
Right.
didn't even really know what that was.
That's right, non-comedogenic.
Right. So when you have acne, and I really, you see some people and they just look like there's no hope for them, and I
Right.
feel so sorry, for people with that struggle. What can they do?
Well, I mean, for severe cases, obviously we want to bring in a dermatologist as well. But I mean, estheticians and dermatologists need to be working hand in hand, because we can do a lot for them from a skincare perspective, from a makeup perspective, from a cleansing perspective, and then occasionally they also need, prescription drugs to bring it under control. But most people respond fairly well to products like benzoyl peroxide, alpha and beta hydroxy acids, salicylic and glycolic acid mixtures, sulfur products and things like that are completely topical. And a lot of times it's just getting in a program, and that's what we try to do with our clients, is to set them up on a program where we are basically supervising everything they're putting on their face, in terms of large parts of their face, as we talked about,
Right.
clog-prone areas for a prolonged period of time. That's what
Right.
we call it. Get them, because a lot of times, in the before and afters that I'm going to show you tonight, none of these we do great treatments, and we do great extractions, and we do great things as far as clog pore removal and stuff like that in the clinic. But a lot of it has to do with what you're doing at home.
Right, and what you eat, and what your lifestyle really
Well, lifestyle
is.
can be, and eating, yes and no. I mean, there are some things as far as foods are concerned. The two areas that we worry about with foods are certain women have problems with milk products. Okay, it's primarily a female thing, and it's not the milk, it's not the milk fat, it's not the sugar in the ice cream. It's the hormones in the cow milk.
Oh my.
Okay, they get in your system.
Yeah.
And most milk comes from pregnant cows.
Oh.
And when
yeah.
cows are pregnant, there's a lot of hormones flowing. And the hormones, there's not hormones they put in the milk. It doesn't matter if it's organic or not. The cow's still making hormones.
Right.
Okay? Not every person has a problem with that. And when we suspect that somebody has that, or I hear a client say, I think I may have a problem with milk, because when I have a lot of cheese or when I have a lot of milk products and
Right.
dairy, I tend to break out. I tell them to go off of all dairy for 4 to 6 weeks.
And see.
And see if it clears. If it clears, they might be on something.
Right.
If it doesn't clear, it probably has nothing to do with
Right.
that. Okay. Chocolate in women, another thing, is chocolate's been thrown out as a cause of acne. Okay.
Right.
Chocolate doesn't cause the acne, but women think, well, every time I eat chocolate, I get, well, when do you eat chocolate? Okay.
Yeah,
It's a
okay,
hormonal
hormonal
response.
thing.
Okay. See, a lot of it is hormonal responses, and people talk about sugar. There is a couple of new studies out. This was the other area. The couple of new studies out. There's a great book called the Clear Skin Diet. If anybody's really interested in this, it's written by a Harvard derm and a naturopath, actually, and talking about foods and acne. And so the food situation with sugar, for example, is that if we throw ourselves into a high glycemic pattern in terms of our diets, that messes up hormones such as insulin, okay? And there's a triggering kind of domino effect of hormones within the body. So if you're doing this all the time, okay, if you're donutting constantly and Cheetoing constantly,
right.
okay, it doesn't matter if you have them here and there, but if you had them all the time, it could cause some hormone fluctuations.
Right. Now, I will say that there is a dairy that's close to here, Cheesy Dairy, that is, you can get their milk at Everman's and at Floribama Farms, but they do not use any hormones, and it's really good milk. So if you are having that problem and you do think that milk is a culprit, they could probably have that,
might be
right?
something to try. Right.
So that's a great information too,
Yeah,
again,
sure.
about the diet and all that stuff. Can you truly unclog your pores by, what can you do to, if you do
You
have
cannot
clogged
unclog
pores?
your pores by diet.
Okay.
And they're not little toxins that are going to pop out all over the place. That's not the way it works.
Thank goodness.
But you can, if you have clogged pores, you need to get to the source of what might be causing it externally, which could be everything we talked about before.
Right.
Comedogenic, not non-comedogenic, but comedogenic products. And using things to control your oil in terms of cleansers and things like that, making sure that you have products that don't have a lot of oil in them, because for people who are oily and acne prone, they're making enough oil on their own. They
Right.
don't need moisturizers with oil.
And you have makeup at your place that will help with
Absolutely.
that.
That has been tested and tested and tested. We have one product now, Hydrofluid, and Hydrofluid has been on the market for 30 years this year. And it was
Wow.
my first product I ever made, and it's still a classic. It's still our most popular product. And it's a moisturizer that's designed for people who have acne-prone skin.
And people can just walk right into your salon.
They can, and we
get some
have
makeup.
people there to help them. But what we really prefer to do is to see you for a treatment or a consultation, where we sit down and we take your health history and talk to you about other things you might be doing and how long have you had this. Because we want to know, have you been on Accutane? Are you
Right.
seeing a dermatologist? Have you had a lot of problems? Do we need to send you to a dermatologist? I mean, there's a lot of things like
Right.
that we want to make sure and cover.
And then drinking water and everything is important, because you say that dehydrated skin is also a big issue for acne.
Right. Drinking plenty of water is just a generally great idea. Okay. It does not clear acne, but it will make the skin function in a better way for everybody. I think it's just as important. Water is just as important for somebody who has sensitive skin. It's important for somebody who has aging skin, somebody who has sun damage. Water is just a very important element in keeping skin in good shape. But on the other hand, it's not going to substitute for a great moisturizer. The problem with water is the skin is the last on the bus route. Okay, okay. So the water goes a lot of other places before it goes to the skin.
Oh, okay.
And including the bladder, because if you drink a lot of water, what happens? Not all of it goes to your skin.
Right, that's true. So, okay, so now maybe what is in a good moisturizer?
I think we're supposed to go to break.
Okay,
now, so
well, when we get back,
we'll talk about
we're gonna learn about
moisturizers. Okay,
so thanks for
sounds great.
joining us.
I'm Mark Downey, a licensed broker in Alabama and Florida. When it comes to surveys and boundary determination, I don't take chances with just anyone. I call Mark Sweeney and Associates. And not just because we share the same name, more so because I know that my survey will be done professionally and on time, both of which are very important factors when navigating a closing for a client. Whether you need a simple survey or just want to know if your neighbor's fence is encroaching on your land, Swinney is the team to call. Give them a call today.
I'm Craig Vygotsky, and I'm a criminal defense attorney. For the last 10 years, I've defended clients who've been arrested. Prior to entering private practice, I was assistant state attorney prosecuting juvenile, misdemeanor, and felony cases. Since beginning defense work, I have represented clients in all of these courts on cases ranging from serious violent felonies to misdemeanor batteries and DUIs. If you've been arrested and need help, give me a call at 912-8520.
DUI is serious business in the state of Florida. It's not against the law to drive a car after having a drink, but if you drive a car with alcohol in your breath and you get stopped, you're going to be asked to do field sobriety exercises. A DUI arrest alone, even if you're not guilty, has serious consequences to your driver's license. So, if you ever find yourself in the predicament of this gentleman, give me a call. Let me help you with your case.
Hello, everybody. I'm Shelly Yates back here with Dr. Mark Lees from Dr. Make Me Beautiful. And I want to say again that I work for Dr. Derek Jones, a facial plastic surgeon. And the viewers of the show that have seen it before know that we have been taking these really fun escapes at Wind Creek of Spa Escapes. And it's typically the last Friday of every month. However, because of Labor Day weekend, we're going to have it this August the 23rd. So it's really the third Friday of the month, and we're still going to leave from the Medical Center Clinic and go on out to Wind Creek and have a really fun time. Last time we just had a blast. So we have information on our Facebook page, or you can call us at 474-8178. But now back to the riveting acne skincare and Dr. Mark Lees, and when we left our show, we were learning about moisturizer. So what is in a good moisturizer? What do we need?
And for acne-prone skin, you want to look for something called a humectant. And a humectant's a water binder as opposed to an oil. And as we said before, acne-prone skins are already making too much oil. And this would also be pertinent for sunscreens, anything that's being worn, or foundations, anything that's being worn on the face for long periods of time. They need to be essentially either low fat or fat free, basically, okay, because we want to avoid these oils.
Okay.
And there are silicones and there are man-made molecules that we can put in instead that will serve the same purpose without contributing to the acne.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, from the
Now,
outside.
you have some really great, and this is what I love, the before and after,
Sure,
because we get
sure.
to really find out what's happened here. So can we
Right,
see
sure,
some?
absolutely, absolutely. I want to go through some of the stuff we do. These are just sort of the principles of doing it. So in these before and afters, these case studies, we're doing effective cleansing, which basically means the use of a foaming cleanser in the morning. Sometimes they're medicated, sometimes they're not, depending on the severity of the situation. Non-clogging, there's that word, non-comedogenic, non-fatty products, okay? Follicular exfoliation, and that would be done by a daily use of an alpha beta hydroxy acid gel or a benzoyl peroxide product, and for if it's a more severe situation, it would be something like Retin-A, okay, or Tazarac or one of those. Powerful hydration with low or no emollients.
Okay.
So you're making enough. The fact that you have oily skin means that your skin is, the emollient level of your skin is already great. Okay. So what we need to do is put water back into the skin. And these molecules like sodium PCA, hyaluronic acid, sodium hyaluronate, and that's why you come to me, is get me to pronounce them.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
But to design the program for you to make sure those things are in there, because they pull water as opposed to adding oil to the skin. Okay. And actually, oil What happens when you mix oil and water together?
They don't really
They
mix
don't
well.
mix. So if you have dry skin and you're using something with a whole lot of oil on it, a lot of times it really doesn't do anything. It blocks whatever water you have from evaporating, but it doesn't do anything to put water back into the skin.
Now,
And
how
that's-
should you wash it, though? I mean, I know there's so many things. There's the Clarisonics, you get the handheld brush.
Yeah, those are
washcloths,
fine. You can
what?
use the Clarisonic. The main things you want them very rinsable. Whatever you put on the face, you want rinsable. And if you're using a cleansing milk to take off makeup, you want to make sure it's been tested to make sure that it's not comedogenic. Because when you take makeup off, you're bound to leave a little bit of the residue.
Right.
Okay. The use of a toner is a good idea because a lot of the toners have a little solvent in them, and they'll take off whatever's left from them,
Okay.
particularly for makeup
So
removal.
if you use your toner, you should use your toner maybe to help you take the makeup off.
Yeah, well, after you cleanse, then you would use the toner. And what we do is we have our clients, most of the toners that we have, with the exception of a few of them that have acids in them, you don't do this one. But we have people spray them onto the face. We
Okay.
actually come in spray bottles.
great.
So they
You
just
don't waste
spritz
it.
when they get done. You don't spill the cotton. You don't have to go look for the cotton. It's not a big problem. You're not there. It goes down the sink.
Right.
You know. So if you spray it on, you can't do that with acid. Things that have a lot of like salicylic in them, things like that. You want to spray that because it get in the eye.
And I know you're not supposed to touch your face. That's probably bad,
Try to
right?
keep your hands off your face. Now, the bacteria on your hands is not the bacteria that causes acne. Okay,
Oh.
but touching the face constantly or doing this where you're irritating and causing inflammation, or you're picking at your skin, that's not good.
That's not good.
But that's not what causes the acne. The acne is going to be there anyway because it's from genetics and from hormones.
Right.
That's what causes that. But so what we did with these case studies was we had them use a cleanser in the morning, followed by a toner, followed by some sort of follicular exfoliation product, either benzoyl peroxide, usually it was benzoyl peroxide or a mixture of alpha and beta hydroxy acid. Then we had them use a sunscreen that had hydrator built into it, but was also non-comedogenic.
Right.
Okay. And then we had them use at night. We had them use a hydrator that was just a pure hydration by itself. Okay.
Okay.
So let's look at some of the before and afters, and we'll see. Okay, so this is a guy, and as you can see, if you look at the left-hand side of the screen, he's got a lot of little clogged pores.
Yes, he
He
does.
has a lot of little blackheads and clogged pores, and we put him on this system for 6 weeks. Now, we didn't do any extraction. We didn't even do a facial. Okay, on all of these slides, we don't, when we're testing our products, we don't want to do manipulations or extraction or laser or light treatments or anything.
Right.
So we just want to see if the products will work. So we put them on this range of products, and then that was the skin
Whoa.
6 weeks later.
It just looks so calm and
Yeah.
happy.
And see, the pores are still there. He's got a little bit of ice pick scarring there on the cheek, but they're clear.
Yeah.
Okay. The pores are still there. They're still going to. It takes a while for pores to kind of calm down.
Can you make pores smaller?
Over a period of time, you can make them look smaller.
Look
I mean, they're pretty much genetic. But over a period of about 6 or 8 months of using alpha and beta hydroxy acid in particular, which is what we used in this case, we can make them look smaller.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because when we get all the debris out of them, if they have elasticity left in them, they'll shut back down.
Okay.
Here's another case. I just went past them, but this is another case. It was about 6 weeks.
Right.
This is a minor acne. This is this person who constantly has sick sits. Okay.
Yeah.
And we put them on basically the same program.
Right.
And the nice thing about alpha hydroxy acid also has sort of a skin evening effect.
Yes.
So
It looks like that. It looks
yeah.
very healthy and even.
right, even tone. This is a clogged, dehydrated skin. A lot of
Yes, it
blackheads,
is.
a lot of clogged pores, and a lot of surface dryness. And when it's dryness, it's lack of water. That's 6 weeks later.
Wow.
Isn't that incredible?
It is. I feel
And
so
this-
much happier for the people.
Yeah. They are all happier, I
I'm
assure
sure.
you. We also have the situation of keratosis pilaris in the
Right.
arms. This is 4 weeks on a program for
Wow.
that. This is a very simple program. It's a once-a-day thing. It's very easy to, well, it's twice-a-day thing actually, but it's only one product that
Yeah.
you use for this. But
That's
we've had very
fantastic.
good results with that. This is a little older client, and as you can see on the top, if you look around her temple, she has a lot of clogged pores. And after about 6 weeks, all of them are gone. And we also evened out all of her pigment, which
Yes,
was
you
sort of
did.
accidental, but that's what happens with AHAs a lot of times.
And healthy skin.
And very
probably.
healthy, much healthier looking skin. She has been using my products for 25 years now, I think. Yeah,
She's 80
still
years old and looks great. No, I'm just kidding.
These are some kids I worked with at the Paul Mitchell School in San Francisco last year, and these were cosmetology students who volunteered their faces for case studies. And this was done over about 11-week period of time. And we put them on our products, and as you can see in the after
what a
picture,
pretty
much
girl.
clearer.
Yeah.
Same here with the textures, just amazingly clearer.
Right, you can really notice their eyes. You're not drawn to their
Exactly, and just it's not only are their acne's clearer, but their texture of their skin is so much better.
Absolutely.
And
Oh,
see,
yeah,
see, and
that's
this
nice.
one's really representative of that texture clearance.
Just looks clear.
Right, exactly. So the little older client, so she was 30-something.
Yeah.
Just not the 30s early, but this is another good example of somebody we
So
help.
the key is people need to come on in.
Come on in, see us, had a
That's right.
consultation, sit down with one of our therapists, let them work out a plan for you. And, we do like to do treatments to speed everything up. The
Sure.
treatments that we do in the clinic certainly boost the effect of this, and they will make it go faster.
Right, and you guys are located right in Cordova Square.
Right in Cordova Square,
in
right
Pensacola.
next to the deli
And
case.
your
we've been there for
website
years.
is?
MarkleysSalon.com. You go to MarkleysSalon.com, and it connects you to other links that we have.
Right, and the
too.
Facebook, and we thank you guys so much for joining us. What an action-packed 30 minutes.
There
That
we
was
go.
so much
It
fun.
was a lot of fun.
Well, we'll see you next time on Dr. Make Me Beautiful, and thank you so much for tuning in.
Good night.